Hello and welcome to Catalyst Happy Hour-ish with me, Antony.
Me, Darren.
And today we're getting someone else to do our job for us once again because we're running out of things to talk about. But we're very excited today because we have got Xoe-B with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and it's going to be great to chat. I'm not going to say too much about you because we'll obviously question you and you can explain who you are. But if you have any questions from today's podcast for anyone listening or anything you want to send to us, head over to our website, www.catalystyouth.org.uk, where you can find our social media and our email addresses, which are Antony, Darren, or info@catalystyouth.org.uk.
You got right this week.
Darren is currently laughing at me for the fact that anyone that listened last week, you'll know that I was having a very off week and everything went wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the complete opposite. I mean, you gave the wrong email. Was it the email or the website?
No, it's the email. It's complete wrong email.
We've had no complaints.
No, and for anyone listening, did you email the wrong email? And can you tell us who it went to if you did? Because that'd be great.
It would have just been a bounce back going, this email does not exist.
Yeah, and last week when we told you if you had any complaints to send them to complaints@catalystyouth.org.uk, did anyone get an answer for that? Because that doesn't exist either.
Oh my goodness. Oh, what a nightmare.
It's going well. It's going well. But
what's the word? Forever the professional, isn't it? Isn't that what they say?
Always. Always. But if you did listen last week, you would have heard that we had Craig on with us all the way in Chicago to talk about his podcast together, BHA. If you didn't listen, head back. There are 55 other episodes of this podcast you can listen to alongside this one, which if you're listening on release day, it's Friday, the 12th of November. If you're not, it's whatever day you're listening on.
Isn't it Children in Need when this comes out? Isn't that the same night?
No, it's next week, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I hope it's next week. I hope it's next week. I only put the stuff out for it yesterday.
That'll be next week then.
But no, Xoe, thank you for joining us. As we say, we are going to be chatting to you today about who you are, why we've got you on here, and it's a first for us later on because we're actually going to promote something as well that is out today. If you're listening on the release day.
It's very exciting. Oh my goodness. I didn't realise that was the first though, that you're going to be doing that. That's fun.
Yeah, we've promoted things, but never on the day that they've come out.
Oh, this is fun. I like being the first person to do things. That makes me very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, we tried with one guest to get, like an artist who's going to be performing in a gig or like a weekend event that we're going to next year, but he wouldn't give us none of it. He was keeping stum. He didn't. Yeah. He said, "When's this coming out?" He went, "Oh, I can't say nothing." Then. It's like,
that was rubbish.
So
Oh, that's sad. Dun dun dun.
Anyway, Darren, kick us off.
Okay, we like with all our guests, we always chuck in this question because it's easy and it's a bit light-hearted. And so the other questions really I've just looked through them. Is an easy one is what is your favourite movie?
Oh, I have so many favourite movies, but the one that stands out to me the most is Avatar. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
I know. I just love, there's just so much detail that's gone into the planning of that film. And when you start, because I've watched it 3 or 4 times a year, every year since it came out. And I've got the extended version, I've got all the behind the scenes stuff. I've got it all, okay? Super fan over here. But the more you watch it, you pick up a different detail every single time. And I just love it. The amount of thought that came into it. It's wow.
Okay. And did you see it in 3D when it came out? Because wasn't Avatar the first film to do that or something?
I don't think I did because I have a funny feeling I might have been too young to go see it in a cinema.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks too young as well. I saw it within the whole marketing campaign stuff going on. Yeah. But yeah.
Nice. And I mean, as I say, I don't know. Was that the first film to do 3D? Well, maybe in that context, but for anyone my age listening, it wasn't the first one to do it, was it? Because Spy Kids 3 came with the 3D glasses in the DVD case. So
you can't claim that as a 3D movie, can you?
It did.
I mean, the glasses with the blue and red.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's not 3D. That's not fruity.
I think you're fine. When you watch Spy Kids 3 and you've got those things tied at your face, it's fruity enough.
I was just looking at the date when it came out because I couldn't remember. So 2009.
Oh, yeah, I was literally 9.
And that's the end of the podcast. Thanks very much for joining. 9 years.
Do you want to think how old I was?
That's hilarious.
I left college in 2012, so that would have been 18.
Wait, did Avatar actually have an age limit on? I claim I'm a super fan, and I actually don't know.
I don't know. I think I must have been 15.
PG or was it 12? It might have been 12.
I was.
How old were you, Dad?
27.
You were my age.
Yeah, and the following year, I got married 2 years before that.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. God, I'll tell you what, Dan, this must be your favourite podcast.
It's great. I mean, I had it today whilst at the college. I was speaking to somebody I knew from years ago, and they're 18, and I knew them when they were 10. I was like, how did you get to 18? That's just crazy.
You literally make yourself sound old by saying that.
I know I did. And I was like, how is this possible? It's just...
I love it.
Because they just stay small in my head. It's like, that's how they should stay.
And my favourite thing, Darren, is I usually find something to take the mick out of you on the podcast, but I don't need to this week. You don't yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
Congrats.
Thank you very
That
much.
deserves a clap. Well done.
Yeah, I got to put cheering behind this bit. You know.
Yeah.
But no, good choice in Avatar. And our second question then that we ask a lot, and I feel like this is going to be one that might continue on throughout the podcast. But who is your favourite artist or band, or can you cut it down to one album?
Oh my God, that's like one of the hardest ever questions to ask a musician. Like, seriously. It changes all the time. Like, it's like every week there's a new album that you're completely and utterly obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically an impossible question. But I can tell you I can't narrow it down to any more than like 2 or 3, but
Perfect.
I will give you them anyway.
Yeah.
So one of my all-time favorite albums is Traveling Without Moving by Jamiroquai.
Okay.
Absolute banger of an album. It's super groovy. The bass lines throughout the whole entire thing are just absolute fire. I love it. So
Nice.
Go listen to that if you haven't already. Another all-time favorite of mine is a singer-songwriter based in California. Her name is Tori Kelly.
Yeah.
Absolute mega vocals, completely insane. I'm obsessed. I love her so much. And then another current artist that I'm heavily influenced by is Dua Lipa, because I love the whole old school meets new school vibe. And it basically just sounds like an 80s disco with like modern production on it. And that makes me like so happy. But yeah, I can give you an all-time favorite song as well if you're there.
Go for it.
All-time favorite song is called Stomp by the Brothers Johnson.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's the best song ever. If you want a feel-good tune that's complete and utter 70s disco, you listen to that song. It has the most fabulous bass line ever. I love it. It has some killer vocals in there. It's just a tune. It makes me so happy every time I hear it.
Darren, did you write that down?
I've written them all down, and I'm just about to have a quick listen to Stomp.
Well,
which I can do.
Oh my God.
You
Yeah.
can do it. But if you haven't heard that song, when this comes out, look in the description. There will be a link to all these artists and the song and whatever else we talk about today.
I've given you so much work there, haven't I?
Hey, no, it's fine. You've given me no work. It's all Darren.
You're welcome.
Yeah, all me. Just listen to a little bit of that, and it's very... the old movies used to see them jump over the front bonnet of the car kind of thing. That kind of styly.
Yeah, that's the one.
I like it.
That
I like
sounds
it.
about right.
So
Yeah, it's the breakdown on the bridge of the bass, and he goes into like this massive slap bass section. Oh, love it.
Amazing. And do you know what? I'd like to thank you for the fact you are potentially the most enthusiastic to that question of anyone we've ever interviewed.
Definitely. And,
you're welcome.
you know, if we had a lot more money, people listening could actually listen to it on a podcast, but we don't. So
Yeah, we'll get copyright.
we can't buy the rights to that, you know.
Yeah, no.
We got a budget, and it's a budget of 0. So there we go.
I love that. Got got to start somewhere, you know. We've all been there. It's okay.
Oh, but we're still waiting for sponsors, and they're not coming.
I mean, I'll be honest, Darren. Some of the stuff we say, would you want to sponsor us?
Yeah, I would, just for the giggles.
Would you?
Yeah, 100%.
The thing is, what I love most
Very entertaining.
is Zoe, you got no warning about what really this was about. We just asked if you wanted to be on it. So I can suddenly now see you regretting every decision that you've made in doing it.
No. I'm just finding this very entertaining because I've just laughed since the minute we joined on this call. So
great.
That says a lot, you know. It's entertaining. That's what people want to hear, you know.
Yes.
Oh, but brilliant. Okay, well, thank you for that. That's good. But you did touch on it when you said that it was a hard question to do for a musician. So we are going to jump into what we're talking about today. And the question is, what is it that you do for your job here?
I have the coolest job ever. It's actually quite difficult to explain. So in the easiest way, I'm a professional musician. But within that, I have what's called a portfolio career. And a portfolio career is basically where you have your main thing that you do and then loads of multiple income streams. So basically, it's great for people who get bored very easily, that are creative with headspace. Like, if you're a creative person, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you just get to do completely different things every single day. So I would probably say most of the time for me, dare I say it, even though my profession is musician, I spend more time doing social media marketing and content creation than I do actually making music.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, it's good. And I mean, you can head over to Instagram, Twitter, and look up Xoe-B Music, Zoe with an X, Xoe-B Music, and you can see all that Zoe does on her social media, because you've actually been... I'm not going to say that yet. I want to build up to it later. There you go. A little tease for everyone listening. Something's coming.
People on the edge of their sofas.
Announcement time.
I was going to build up to that and then was like, no, that's literally question 2. And that is too early. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so moving on to our next question then. How did you get into your music career? What made you want to choose this revenue? Or avenue, even revenue? Hopefully lots of revenue, but this avenue.
Well, this avenue that I've come down kind of fell into place almost, because originally I've always wanted to be a dancer. Like, that's my thing. I've done it since I was 3. La-di-da, did all West End stuff, etc., etc. And then in 2015, I had a major injury. I got dropped on my neck while at a dance rehearsal, and I got a neck injury that I didn't actually know about. So I didn't feel any pain or anything until about 5 months later. And then suddenly I had this excruciating pain in my hips. And then after that, I spent 10 months in intensive rehab, literally learning how to walk again. So part of my rehab was I wasn't allowed to walk around my house. I had to crawl everywhere because I had so many problems, la-di-da. But yeah, because I couldn't dance at that level anymore, I needed another creative outlet. And turns out I'm actually a lot better at music. So there we go.
You say you're a lot better at music, though. Am I correct in saying you're now a champion at something that happened this week?
Yes, you are correct. I won the National Ballroom and Latin finals. I am the Latin champion.
There we go. Congratulations. that is an
Bucket
achievement.
list tick.
There you go. But
yeah, great
you
fun.
got to be pretty good at it to get champion.
Yeah, but I've been doing Ballroom and Latin since I was 10, so it's taken like 11 years to get there.
Okay.
Lots of people can do it in like 2 years, 2 or 3 years, but no, 11 years. It's fine. Better late than never.
Exactly that.
It was obviously perfection, so it just took that time to make it top notch.
We did a lot of celebrating. It's okay. It was perfect.
No. Okay, but no, that's a fascinating story as to how you got into it, because not what I expected at all.
No, because most people will be like, oh yeah, I picked up the guitar when I was like 3 and now 20 years later, here we are. But no, I never wanted to do music. It wasn't really a thing in my brain until I was like, oh, I need to pick something else that's interesting. And I was like, music's fun. I've been singing anyway because I've been doing musical theatre stuff. And I was like, why not? So then I ended up taking music at GCSE, got an A-star, wahey, and then did a triple A level in music, got a triple distinction star. And then I've just recently completed my bachelor's degree in commercial music and got a first. So
wow,
here we are.
Wow.
You know what you're doing then.
In theory.
I mean, sticking along with how you got into the music career, obviously we said if people wanted to find you on Instagram, it's Xoe-B, but with an X.
That's the one.
No, we sort of already talked about this, but why is it an X? Tell everyone else.
So this is a very good story. So back when I was releasing my first ever EP, so this was in 2018, it was called Ignite. And the day before that was due to come out, I had a very nasty email, shall we say, from someone who had trademarked my actual name. So I could then no longer use my actual name for my music stuff. So I kind of had a couple months of brainstorming with everyone, trying to think of like, it's basically like a stage name or like an artist persona that I've kind of come up with. And turns out it's actually worked out for the best because I've basically done like a vision board and I've put everything on there of what I want Xoe-B to be. And then slowly I'm just working my way towards that because lots of it's down to like personal and professional development. And I would definitely say the personal development aspect has been so helpful for me because I've just visioned who it is that I want to become. And I have to say I'm pretty much there now. So I'm very happy with that.
Wow. I like it.
That's way too professional.
I was going to say.
I mean, a vision board and everything. I'm like, perhaps we should do a vision board, Antony. Do
you know, Darren, one thing we have never done actually is look at this podcast and go, where do we want to be?
You should probably do that.
Do you know what? I'd be happy with just one sponsor. That would hit the mark for me. I mean, we made it. Done.
Mate, you need to visualize who that sponsor is going to be and then work all your steps, write down all the steps it is that you need to be able to do to actually achieve that. Like, write down and visualize that goal because that's really going to help you.
Tesco's.
Game changer.
Tesco's.
Every little helps.
That was very witty. Well done.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'd be, do you know, if we suddenly got an email saying, oh, we'd like to have you as a sponsor, we'd like to sponsor your... I was
going to say, we don't want to be a sponsor for someone.
I don't know what we would do. We'd have to be really serious about, you know, the product or the company.
Pick something that you completely and utterly believe in. Like, it could literally be like the microphones that you use to record this podcast and be that company.
I mean, we have two different microphones, so who would we pick?
But that's the thing. You can pick one that you really, really like and then both of you then get the same one, start using it, talk about it in pretty much every episode, tag them in everything that you post, and then they'll start noticing that you're doing that and then they'll reach out to you.
I mean, we both like Jack Daniel's honey.
Yeah, so Jack Daniels,
I have not tried that.
Drink
sounds
responsibly.
really nice.
Drink responsible, people.
If you're under 18, ignore that comment.
But yeah, it is so smooth and yeah.
See, Jack Daniels, if you're listening, we already bigging you up.
Yeah, and we've also done the apple and what's the other? Is it spice? Fire. Yeah, that one as well. So you know we'll advertise all three.
And we'll also, you know, if a Drink Responsibly campaign wants to sponsor us as well, we'll do that one at the same time. Why not?
Brilliant. Why not?
we'll do a little video what not to do. Okay, moving on to our next question then. Oh dear, where are we?
You've lost what question we're on, haven't you? I've got it in front of me, mate.
Number four. Okay. What is your favourite, and also this needs to be appropriate, moment from your career?
Okay, so my favourite moment in my career was literally, didn't even have to think about it. It was the first time that my song got played on BBC Introducing on the radio. Oh my goodness. That was just the most incredible moment ever because it was like suddenly you realise that all the work you've put in to get to that point, someone else has realised that and gone, yeah, this is good enough now to be commercially shown to people. And the just amount of feedback that I had from that, like like when you listen to radio and they say, oh, text in to this number or tweet us, la-di-da. And you can literally, there were so many people that I did not even know that were tweeting in and texting and just saying that was absolutely amazing. Like, who is this person? So that was just like, oh, wow. But I was literally sat in the studio, like where I am now, with a drink in hand, all by myself, because everyone else in my house were out at dinner. They were listening on the phone at the table. So I was just all by myself. But I was literally just sat here like dancing around the studio and crying and having a great time and feeling very overwhelmed. And then I just had loads of friends and family then text me afterwards and call me, and they were just like, wow, because it's something relatable that people actually understand. Like when you say, oh, I'm on BBC Radio, everyone's like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know you were that good. So when you put something into perspective for other people that aren't used to what it is that I do, suddenly it gives me that credibility that people were searching for in the first place. So yeah, career highlight right there already. Bam.
Yeah, and I can imagine. I mean, we've never experienced anything like that with the podcast.
No, the podcast.
One day,
but I did receive an award from the mayor.
Did you?
Yeah, from the local mayor of my town.
Sorry, don't humour him. Don't humour him.
Antony, shut. And it's.
I want an award from my local mayor. Like, come on, that'd be well fun.
There was an award ceremony, and
I didn't go.
I had you were invited. I think you'll find.
I know. I didn't go there.
Just didn't go. But yeah, there was a table, and I could take some people with me, and I received the award from the mayor, and yeah, it was amazing. But
why didn't I go?
That's pretty cool.
I have no idea.
But I got on holiday instead.
It was March the 8th, 2019.
Busy.
That's really cool, man.
I mean, my wife didn't even go, so
I was in Belfast.
Yes, Guinness was more important.
Priorities.
But yeah, I think that's the highest achievement. And do you know, I was really chuffed to get that, and it was like
you should be.
Just to
that's
be
like your whole local community, like completely support you and recognise the work that you're doing. Like, that's awesome.
Do you know what, Zoe? You can come on the podcast again.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here whenever.
Because all I get is grief from him.
No, I'm a really nice guy. I haven't got an award like that. I'm just jealous.
No, me neither. I want one.
I mean, you could probably print one online, Zoe, to be honest.
Oh!
There it is. Damn.
Honestly,
savage comment of the day.
I've sat that whole time trying to think how I can turn this around, and it took me so long to get to it. Oh. Anyway,
brilliant.
No, Darren, it's good, and it's good that your young people came to support you as well.
It was, yeah. It was a really good evening, and yeah, I mean, I was moved to tears when I collected my award. So I never got anything like that before, and it was kind of like, do you know what? I've been doing this for quite a number of years now, and it's like, when you've done like a holiday club or something like that, you get a thank you from a parent, but then which I think is really nice, and that's all I need. But then to actually be recognised by the mayor of your town for the work that you've done, I just think it's just like, wow, okay. So next stop,
that is a hella good achievement.
Yeah.
MBE next.
MBE. My youth, if you're listening, Aaron's youth sent him to the mayor to get an award. What have you guys done?
Fair.
Wow.
I tell it to their face. They're all right. But
love it.
No, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's achievements like that, and Zoe, especially in your line, the introducing, that's big. That's awesome. Not just a small radio show that it's been played on and your family have heard it. Like that's going to have gone further. That's
the thing, because I get like local radio play like all the time, but because in the nicest way possible, not many people actually listen to their local community radios. But as soon as you get on one that everyone knows the name of, like you say, I'm on BBC Radio, and they're like, whoa. Yeah. So
you say people don't listen to the community one though. Burgess Hill Radio, they're all over it.
That is very true. I was played on there the other day, actually. Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday at 3:30 with Ian Ridgely. Oh. So there we go. Bam.
There you go. Burgess Hill Radio, if you'd like to sponsor a podcast.
There we go. That would be a good one. Come on.
Oh, we keep going. We keep going.
We could, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing more that I like to listen to than Burgess Hill Radio.
Hey,
I don't think I get it. I don't get it in Somerset.
Burgess Hill Radio where you are.
Oh man.
No, one of George's dad's friends. He's a presenter on Burgess Hill Radio. So
if you're listening,
that's cool.
Dan, if you're
That's
listening,
cool. Hey Dan, you're all right.
there we go. Dan does a lot of the music at the Woolpack, the local pub, so we go there quite a lot to see him. It's great.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice.
yeah, because Zoe, that's where you were meant to perform, but you were ill.
Yes, that is very true. I got laryngitis, so that was fun.
Laryngitis.
I also had a stump. Oh no, it was actually laryngitis. No, oh no, that's not true. That is not true. Well, because part of my job is teaching guitar at like my local high school. Like the amount of germs that go around a school is actually disgusting. So I'm putting it down to touching a door handle or something that hadn't been cleaned. And yeah,
putting it down to school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Wash your hands. 20
Wash your
seconds,
hands, everybody. Yeah.
Face, hand, space.
While you do it.
Is that what it is? Face, hand, space?
Yeah, but the young people don't understand the space bit.
Or the face or the hands.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, no. Oh, young people, we love you guys. We're only joking.
Yeah.
Whatever
I'm a young person,
we say, you are a young.
Kind of. I am a young person. I'm not
You're
old.
I'm good at nurse.
Exactly.
But anyway, we're a complete tangent there, wasn't it? But, yeah. Obviously, you talked about your favourite, and that is an incredible favourite moment to have. But what about an unexpected thing to happen in your music career? Then, is there anything unexpected that?
Yeah. So it was so random, right? So I was at college at the time, and there was so I live in Worthing, and they were having like a Worthing music conference thing at, I think it was at St. Paul's Cathedral or something, whatever it's called. And yeah, so it was like I think it was the day before the conference, someone had pulled out, and then someone had asked me to fill in. I had no idea what to expect at all. Got there and I was sat on a panel with Rag and Bone Man.
Because he's from Uckfield, isn't he?
Yeah, it was so
Rory.
unbelievably random. I was just like, hang on a minute.
That is cool.
Only like a commercial artist that's like sat right next to me. I didn't even know what the conference was actually about either. I had literally no idea whatsoever. I just showed up and started talking about local music stuff. It was hilarious.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love that you've gone to a conference not knowing what it's about and ended up next to Rag and Bone Man. That's
yeah. It was so random. I was literally like, if I'd known this, I probably would have put a bit more effort in.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just the most random thing that's happened. Randomly unexpected. Random. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I like it. That's yeah. I mean, I would have been quite starstruck there. I've seen Rag and Bone Man live. That he's good.
That's cool. That. I think he's playing a show in Worthing actually soon.
Is he?
Is it soon? Yeah, at the pavilion on the pier.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's quite funny.
Yeah, there's some all right venues in Worthing actually.
There are. We have a few more, but some have gone and some have opened. So
yeah. Is it Assembly Hall?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest venue we have. I think so. We've got the Assembly Hall, we've got St. Paul's. We used to have Bar 42, but they've literally, as of last month, just closed. Which is quite sad. Sorry, that's okay. Camera issues. It like turns itself
Somebody
off.
Got a test screen. It took me back to the early days of TV when the TV used to go off.
But yeah, no, my camera just like turns off like every half an hour, so I have to keep like turning on. What was I talking about?
Places in Worthing.
Yeah, so Assembly Halls, St. Paul's. We used to have Bar 42, which is like basically like the only alternative music venue that we had. They've recently been closed down because of noise complaints by the neighbours, even though why would you buy a flat above a music venue and then complain about the noise don't quite understand the logic behind that whatsoever.
Very good point.
Yeah, so that unfortunately got closed, but we now also have the Factory Live, which is part of the Soundhouse group. And that's really cool. I went to a blues gig there a couple of weeks ago. My mates were playing, and it was absolutely brilliant. Really good little venue, that. So I think it's about 150, 200 capacity, something like that.
Okay.
So it's got an actual stage and everything. It's nice. Thoroughly recommend going to a gig there, supporting your local artists. Yeah.
Definitely do that. And if you're in the Worthing area, definitely go along and check some of those venues out. I mean, I've only done the Assembly Hall, but it is a lovely one.
It is, it's very nice.
And if anyone is in the Worthing area and wants to go to the Assembly Hall, go and see Scout for Girls, because they're coming there soon, and they've got a support artist called Ben McKelvey who is going to be on our podcast. So go and see him before he joins us.
Ooh, that's fun.
But anyway, let's get back to you.
I mean, thanks for that name, because then I can now, research who that is. You just said, the person supporting Scouting for Girls in a message to me.
I only talked to him like 2 nights ago. You can't.
I mean, just the name would have been good for me, But yeah, wow. And also, there's for people listening my way, because you spoke all about the South.
But there's a reason, because Zoe is from Worthing.
We've got some really good venues, and Zoe, if you fancy coming to the Southwest, you'll be more than welcome.
Where are you? Where are you?
Well, I'm in Somerset.
Okay.
So
I've got a few mates that live up there. Yeah.
There you go. Come this way and play some music. I mean, I've been listening to your music on Spotify.
Thanks.
Because obviously I needed to find out who you were, because Antony again just gave me your name. I was like, okay, so actually I think he gave me he gave me your Spotify, that's what it was.
I did.
He said, go and have a listen to her. And then he went with going on the podcast.
Look, Darren, we both have our role in this, don't we? You edit and I'm the promotional manager. Is that what they call them? No. What's it called?
Whatever you want it to be called, really.
The guest. Fair enough. Made up job anyway.
Yeah, we're not paying you.
No, you're like are you the host? Or are you the podcast host?
Both of us.
Podcaster?
Yeah, podcast host. And I mean, you could be.
Podcasters.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's a lot of names we can give ourselves.
Who cares? Been called worse. But yeah. Excellent. Okay.
So moving on to our next question then, is what's one thing you wish you had known before you started this career within music?
Again, very good question. I think I briefly mentioned it at the start of this when I said that it's so weird that you spend more time doing social media marketing and anything related to content creation more than you do actually making music and doing musical stuff. So I feel like that's a very hard concept for people to understand, because like I say, I've completed it. I'm a professional musician. That's what I've trained in. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. But then I got to like college and uni, and everyone was like, oh yeah, you need to be on social media. You need to be posting like 3 or 4 times a day on everything. And I'm like, hang on a minute. What? I didn't even know what a hashtag was then. I was so out of the loop. Do you know what I mean? So if I'd known that earlier, then I would have put more effort into like taking like marketing courses, social media stuff. I'm actually learning, because I feel like I've just only in the past like 2 years since I've been at uni kind of that I've actually realized that I need to do that as part of my job if I actually want people to listen to my music. So yeah.
So I'm guessing then you're fully independent.
Yeah, so we class as a DIY artist, so do it yourself. So I'm a bit weird. I wouldn't say it's weird. I think it's relatively industry normal now, except to people that don't understand the industry. I never want to have a record deal. I never want to get signed by a label. I think it's completely counterintuitive. It's a waste of money most of the time, because you end up, it's basically just a massive loan that they give you. And no matter what, whether your album or single, whatever it is successful or not, you have to pay that money back somehow. So if they're putting like 500 grand into like you making a debut album and then having a regional marketing campaign for it, they could decide, like, by the time you've actually written the album, that they hate it, drop you from the label, but you still owe them all that money. Like, it doesn't actually make any sense.
No, I didn't realize that.
It's so counterintuitive.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's just a big loan. Fill your head full of all this rubbish and then expect you to pay it back when they drop you.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I can completely understand the the amount of work that goes into like the social media. But me and Anthony, for our jobs, we put various things on social media between us and for Catalyst, and also for our jobs that we do that we actually get paid for.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of time, especially when we come up to do summer camp. Our youth will know last year and this year we had to do it online, and the amount of time it takes to put stuff together, get stuff sorted, even going live streaming. I mean, it is horrendous the amount of equipment that you have to have, and it can easily, just
absolute nightmare.
Wow.
So, yeah, there we go. If I'd known that.
Yeah, and I guess that might link up with the next question as well, but you might have another answer to it as well. But what's one common myth about the profession that you'd want to debunk, that you'd want to get rid of?
You don't need to be famous to be successful.
Yeah.
People are always saying to me, oh, when you're famous, can I have free tickets to your gigs? And I'm like, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to do that at all. They're like, what? Well, you can't have a job in music unless you're famous. And I'm like, actually, there's a hell of a lot of jobs in the music industry that you can do, and you don't even have to be a musician to do most of them. Yeah. So,
that's good. That's good. That's good advice to give to anyone that's looking to get into music, because you're right. I think a lot of people immediately are like, oh, I'm not successful because I haven't had a song that's hit the charts or this number one or whatever.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That would be super cool to have done, but it's not part of my plan at all to have a number one song to do stadium tours or anything. Don't get me wrong. I think it'd be really fun, but it's not on my plan.
No.
Like, think of all, like, I don't know if you guys might remember, if you were alive back at the time of like Kylie Minogue's thing, when people used to completely roast her for never ever writing her own music.
Yeah.
She doesn't write any of her songs, right? But she used to get slated for that. But all those songwriters, they're getting loads of money from all the songwriting stuff. No one knows who they are.
No.
And you say that that's not successful because they're not famous?
Yeah. Yes, very good point. Very good point.
So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, songwriting isn't the best form of income, shall we say, because labels just like to take all the money from you. Wow, I'm really roasting labels today, aren't I? Oh my goodness.
Bang goes, that's a sponsorship deal.
No record labels sponsoring us.
Fine. There are plenty of artists that are doing it. Like, one of my inspirations, I suppose, I've got two actually, for being a completely independent artist. We've got Todrick Hall over in America.
Yes, Todrick Hall.
I love Todrick Hall. He's completely independent. He's an incredible creative. He is the big CEO of basically just the Todrick Hall franchise. He makes every single decision. He's completely in charge. He employs his whole team himself.
Yeah.
That's how it works, rather than having label, everybody else, artist, songwriters. It's artist-centered, man. It's completely what he wants to be doing. And it's great. And there's also Hannah Trigwell. She's based up in Leeds. Again, completely independent DIY, singer-songwriter, artist stuff. And she employs her whole team. She's up there, number one. And I'm the kind of person that I need to be in control as well. So I'm not very good at being told what to do. Not my thing. I know that. That's fine. So that's my aim. I don't want to be, like at work, there's always some sort of stupid hierarchy, but there's like the CEO and then the managing director and then blah, 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 until you get down to your little admin staff that disappear every 6 months because they can't keep them at work. Wow. I want to be at the top of that triangle, man. I'll be at the top and I'll have my team of people that do all the stuff that I don't want to do. And as long as they love doing that, then it's going to work really well, right? So that's kind of what I'm working towards.
No, I like it. That's a good bit of advice to give, because I don't think people do hear that enough. No,
they don't at all. I didn't hear that till I was at uni.
Yeah. So Todrick Hall's a great choice. Anyone that hasn't heard Todrick Hall, straight out of Oz, great album.
Oh yeah, isn't it just? I saw that live at Leicester Square. Brilliant.
Oh, so good.
So good. I met him there as well. That was hilarious. I was like a giddy child.
Love that. Oh, but no, it is good advice to have, because it is one of those things that actually, and I think one of the main messages that Darren, I know we talked about this on the podcast before, but if you can find a job that you love and if you enjoy doing it, that is always going to make a difference to
100%.
how successful you feel you are, how well you do it at it, if you are enjoying it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it comes back to that word successful though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like everyone has their own version of what successful is. And for me, successful is being 100% happy in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Not having to stress too much about finance. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not in that situation right now. But as long as you're happy, it doesn't matter how much money you earn. It doesn't matter, in my case, whether I'm famous or not. I feel like I'd be miserable if I was famous. You can't even leave your house without getting harassed by everyone. Like, that does not sound fun. I don't know why anyone wants to do that with their lives. I think that's really weird. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes back to that word successful, and I think it's what makes you happy at the end of the day. I think, when I started doing youth work, it didn't feel like a job. And that's what I enjoyed about it, because I really enjoyed it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I won't do it for free because I need to pay my bills. But
yeah, exactly. But if you can make a living doing out something that's fun and that doesn't
you wake up in the morning,
feel like work.
100%. You wake up in the morning and that feeling of off to work, it hasn't got that daunting experience of, oh, I've got to go to work. I mean, I was a bus driver for many years, and that was horrendous.
Oh wow!
Putting up with public people, it was just, I mean, I could roast that, but I'm not going to.
That gives us the topic for the future.
Yeah, tune into a few weeks' time when you'll hear the tales of bus driving.
Yeah, we're going to bring a special guest bus driver on for Darren, just to roast him for still being in the job.
But you never know, that bus driver that you have on might completely love their job.
Maybe.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it wasn't the job for me, but it provided an income.
Yeah, exactly. We've all got to do those kind of things every now and again, Yeah. It has to happen.
Say to all of you, you'll get there in the end. Rome wasn't built in a day. If you work hard, and you'll get to where you need to be.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing about myths we were saying earlier, like that I want to debunk. Oh, wow. When it's anything in the creative industry, when people are like, oh, you have to be young to do it well. Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, it was always like, you kind of train in your profession and then you have to do that for pretty much the rest of your life, right? So like my parents were part of that generation. My mum's been a nurse since the day she's left uni, and she's worked in the NHS ever since. Mm-hmm. But no one ever gave her the option or opened up the door to the option of, actually, it's never too late to do the thing that you absolutely love. Luckily for her, she does actually love it as well. But that's not the point. Because she wanted to be an osteopath. And then they changed like the funding thing for it. And then she started uni, like on the day of the first lecture, she was going for her interview. They said, oh, first lecture's on, off you go. She didn't have any accommodation or anything. So she was just thrown into it.
Wow.
Complete side story. What was I saying before?
About how you don't have to be young to do something.
Oh yeah, there we go. But it's like, I like people at uni as well. Like my uni group, there was only 11 of us in my year. It was fantastic. But I was the second youngest there. So straight out of college, straight to uni.
Yeah.
And then lots of people were kind of like mid-20s. And then we had one guy who was like 28. And then we had another lady who was like, I actually don't know how old she is. I don't want to offend her by saying, but like my parents' kind of age.
She probably doesn't listen.
Oh no. But yeah. But she was always like, oh, everyone always said I'm too old to do music. I'm too old to have a career in the music industry. And it's like, that's so not true. Doesn't matter what age you are. It just depends how, like, your life, the J word, how your life journey pans out, you know. I like you were saying about bus driving, like you had to do that to realize you didn't like it.
Yeah.
You still had to go through all that training, right? So it took you ages to train for it and do the job and know the roads.
Really. No, I mean, training was a 6-week course, if that. You were chucked in a bus straight away. Literally, I was driving a 70-odd seater coach for the very first time on the road. And it was like, hang on a minute, I've gone from driving my little car to this humongous bus.
6 weeks of training.
I'd also like to add, anyone listening now that wants to be a bus driver, it's probably a bit different now.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they still do 6 weeks, Darren? No.
Maybe even less.
I might train to be a bus driver just to get it.
I mean, it's the same as doing your car license. At the end of the day, all they're doing is training you to pass your test. They're not training you to drive.
Yeah.
They're training you to pass your test, and then you learn how to drive afterwards.
With all those passengers on your butts.
Yes. It's a good job they don't go, this is my, like, you know, when they go to, like, I'm in training badge.
Hi, my name is.
I'm still in training, because it would be horrendous. But I completely agree with you. I mean, it's, you know, I'm going to bang on the student thing now. Antony loves that. I've just become a student in September, and I'm 40 now.
Fantastic.
And this is my first time doing university. And it's, you know, and I think actually, if young people wait a little bit, get a little bit of life experience, and then perhaps do university, I think they'll find it more beneficial, because you kind of then get an idea of where you want to go and what you want to do. Because you kind of, I mean, you have to go to college now. You've got no choice in the matter, or could do an apprenticeship until you're 18.
Yeah.
And I think you're kind of forced into doing so much education, you kind of miss out that, what do I actually want to do?
Yeah, because there's always that last bit of college as well, like the last term before you leave. It's always like, oh, let's do some university applications. Yeah, like it's like they're forcing that route upon you, and I just don't think it's right. It's like you said, it doesn't matter what age you go. It's trial and error, you know. Like some people don't know what they want to do, and that's absolutely fine. But I definitely think that school, college, all of that, they just put so much pressure on you having to know what it is that you want to do and forcing you to stick with that. But actually, it's just trial and error. You're going to try stuff, you're going to hate it, and then one day you stumble across the thing and you're like, oh, didn't even know that was a job, and this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And then you start doing it. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can find that passion whenever.
Yeah, you're right.
Wisdom.
There you go.
No, it is. And but I'm just looking at, the next question is, what advice would you give someone? But would you say that is what it is?
That is some good advice, yeah.
To pursue the career that you're in. What advice would you give to someone?
Well, that's a good question. Well, the best bit of advice I've been given was at a masterclass while I was at uni. And lots of people, especially young people, really, really struggle to believe in themselves and what it is that they do. If you have managed to find that thing that you want to do for the rest of your life, like I'm very lucky that I was like, oh yeah, music, that's my thing. I'm doing that. But if you don't believe in yourself doing it, no one else is going to believe in you. Yeah. And if you're really struggling with that whole self-belief thing, it's possibly because you're not quite as confident in it as you want to be. Yeah. So you need to think of yourself as a business. If you think of yourself as a business, you need to put money into that business for it to take off, don't you? You need to spend money to make money, right? So you need to invest in yourself in like courses, books, anything like that, that will actually give you some advice. Because I love books. Books are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest fan on reading, but I prefer books over taking like classes. Yeah. Because I can read it whenever I want. I can get my highlighter out. I can highlight it. I can go back to it a million times. I can cut it out and I can stick it on my vision board. Like, that's terrible looking after books, but not the point. That's what I use them for. And for me, it's just a really good visual aid. Like, and I need that. So yeah, invest in yourself. Think of yourself as a business rather than as, oh, I want to spend money on myself, because lots of people will possibly think that sounds very selfish. It's really not, because if you don't invest in yourself, no one else will.
I like it. Yeah, no, it's good advice, and it's advice that you probably don't hear a lot.
No.
So, yeah, excellent.
No. Yeah. I sound like a proper wise old lady today. But I'm actually only 21. Like,
it's good. It brings some wisdom onto our podcast. This is what we need. Don't look at me like that, Darren. You know.
I bring some wisdom once in a while.
Some.
Love it.
Okay, I think you may have answered this throughout the actual podcast already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But what are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Dun, dun, dun. Good question. So, best resources for me are things like podcasts. So there are two that I listen to that I absolutely love. One of them is called Music Production for Women. Again, it's focused on, because in the industry, the male to female ratio is like really shocking. And lots of time when a woman says, "Oh yeah, I'm a music producer," people are like, "Are you really?" Like, yeah, okay. And as soon as the guy says, "Yeah, I'm a music producer," everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's so cool. Oh yeah, you must be amazing." So yeah, music production for women are amazing if you are female and you want to, learn stuff about that, because it's just it feels like a much more safe environment. It's nice being surrounded by other females in the industry. So the second podcast that I absolutely love to listen to is called The Anatomy of an Artist. And they literally pick an artist like every week to like dissect almost. Not literally, but like internet dissecting. That sounds really weird. And they literally just break down every little thing that they do in terms of marketing, branding, songwriting, image, how their social media works, what each part of their social media is used for and who it's targeted at. And you're literally just there taking so many notes. It's like, oh my goodness, I need to be doing all of this. But yeah, super good. Love that. And then other resources, books. Love them. For anyone that wants to learn how to do songwriting but doesn't really know where to start, a really good one is called The Addiction Formula. Absolutely fantastic. It doesn't cost much at all. But it's got so much information about in there that I wish I knew earlier. If I'd known that earlier, I probably would have been a little bit further in my career by now. And another one that I thoroughly recommend if you want to go down the DIY artist route is to get some books about producing from a home studio, because if you can make your home studio sound as pro as possible, then you're already halfway there. Like if your recordings are rubbish, again, it comes back to that investing in yourself thing. I won't lie to you, I've spent most of my so with uni you get like a termly maintenance loan. My maintenance loan went into my studio that I'm in right now, so it's got all the like acoustic sound stuff on the walls, my guitars, my monitors, computers, interfaces, mics, cameras, la-di-da, etc. There's so much stuff in here, but yeah, that's what my uni loan went on.
Nice. I like it. No, it's good use though, because you're doing what you studied for.
Exactly, it makes sense. I'm very fortunate that my brother moved out when I moved home because I went to a different uni first and then moved unis. My brother moved out when I came home, so I now have the big bedroom, which is great, and then my studio is my old bedroom, and it's like the tiny little box room of a house. I absolutely love it. It's great. So I'm very fortunate that my parents let me have that.
Excellent. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for using student loans for something completely different. I mean, mine's gone on loads of junk, and the next one in January is we're going on holiday next year in the summer. So,
fantastic.
Thanks, Boris.
I love that.
Hopefully nobody from the Student Finance England listens to this, but hey.
Yeah.
Do you know what, mate? If they listen to a podcast, it's going to be this one, isn't it? It's going to be this one.
We have a letter going, we're not paying
call it
no
field
more.
research. Field research, it's okay.
It is.
There we go.
But yeah, I think, I mean, we say it to young people, it's about investing in themselves as well, and
for sure.
I think that's amazing, the books and the two podcasts. Hopefully we'll try and get Zoe to send us a link to the podcast so we can include them in our podcast and the description bits for everybody to then click on if they're interested in that sort of thing. I think this is coming up to our last question, I think.
It is on the list, but I've got a few more things because I like to, make Darren's life
building
harder.
Building up anticipation.
Okay, this is not the last question.
No, this is the last planned question. Anywhere else from here could go completely wrong.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
Here we go then. If you didn't get into music, What is another job you would have liked to do?
Well, again, now I'm a national champion. I would have loved to have been a dancer.
There we go.
But again, we're back in the creative industry. I couldn't not be in the creative industry. My brain, like I said earlier, I don't do very well being told what to do by other people. I don't do very well doing the same thing all day, every day. So something creative. It could be like photography, cinematography. I'm quite good at that as well. Side hustles.
I was watching your lyric video on Instagram, and I love it. It was really cool. You had a swirly bit that went like that. Yeah, that was so cool. Because
that's so long to figure out.
I do the editing for our videos that we've ever done, and I just use the basic transitions because it takes the least amount of time because I just haven't got the time to sit there and do loads.
I do that most of the time as well. Don't worry, it's okay.
But yeah, you can see the creative side because that one little thing, I think, just makes
it a little bit more.
Yeah,
a bit more interesting, doesn't it?
It does, definitely, 100%. So head over to the Instagram and look at the lyric videos.
Yeah, they're fun.
And as I said earlier, we're recording on Zoom, so you guys can't see this, but Darren can't say little swirly thing without doing the action. He just can't do it. Even when you didn't say it then, you still went, go over and look at the...
I didn't even notice. Oh, no.
I like to pick up on these things. I like to do that. But no, that's cool. It's good to... You're obviously a very creative person. That is obviously where your passion is at, whether it is in the music, whether it's in dance, whether it's in cinematography or social media or anything like that. So it's a positive
creative
direction
things.
to take.
That's another thing, actually. I just want to say that as much as I believe in education, I don't think the current education system is the best thing ever because it's basically designed for creative brains to be classed as dumb.
Okay. I like that our podcast has become rebellious.
I know. It's a bit controversial, but when I explain myself, most people are like, oh yeah, that's a very good point. Because if you think about it, it's like we're coming back to the whole bus test, driving test thing. They teach you to pass the exam. They don't actually teach you anything helpful. Yeah. Like that hurts my brain a lot. Like as part of my professional musician multiple incomes portfolio career thing, I teach guitar, and that's exactly what's happened to one of my students. Like they're often called by people because they don't get the highest marks in the world. They often think that she's dumb, and she's not. She's a very creative person. And it just reminds me that the school system doesn't really encourage that very much, which makes me very sad because I think creativity is way more important than society labels it as, how shall we say. So yeah, there's another bit of wisdom in there for you.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that in some respects.
It has its pros and it has its cons.
Darren's just being diplomatic because he's not allowed to.
I'm being diplomatic because I've just been appointed this week as college chaplain. So okay. College wise, I'm just getting to the grips of that side of things. But I think creativity is kind of kids are reduced. They're not. What's the right word? Free. They're not set free to be creative as much. Or if
it's always like you have to do it this way or you fail.
You're given boundaries. And it's not just in working wise. It's also in them personally. The schools, and I bang on about this to my wife all the time. That within schools they want to say to young people, we want you to be you. Do whatever you like. We want you to be you, to grow into the person you want to be. But you have to do this. You have to do that. You can't have a different hairstyle. You can't dye your hair. What your hair color's got to do with actually learning, I do not know. And it just, they say this, but they do something different. And it's like, do as I say, not as I do. It's kind of the mentality within some places, and it really, really bugs the heck out of me.
Because even just like being in like GCSE level, I vividly remember when we were choosing our options that I wouldn't be allowed to do 2 creative subjects. I had to pick another academic. I fought for that because I was like, absolutely not. So I took dance and music, and proved everybody wrong because I got an A star in both of those. So in current terms, that would be like a 9 in the new grading system. But yeah, they did not like it that I was doing 2 creative subjects. They were really against it. I fought for that. I was like, no, not having that. Thanks.
That's good.
Even in those creative subjects, you still had to fit criteria, which is like really difficult. But hey.
Yeah,
it's a bugbear of mine. I mean, we could go on forever if I start, going for it.
Me too.
But we wrote.
Bring down the system.
Yeah.
One day I'll come up to Somerset. We'll go out for a drink, and we will.
Yes.
Talk about a lot of things.
Talk about the education system.
Well, I had to write a whole essay on it
note.
for uni, and I went off on one. Like some of the reports that the government print out completely shun anything creative, and and the ones that are like the opposite end of that, they're talking about. Well, actually, if you think about it, when eventually the world gets taken over by robots, like then you know what I mean. Like even us, like all these factory jobs and everything used to be all run by people, right? Now they're all machines. Like they're putting actual people out of jobs. The jobs that people actually need, like from probably the next generation onwards, are going to be those problem solvers, critical thinkers. And they don't teach that in school. Like they don't. And that really frustrates me because it's automatically then putting them at a disadvantage for the future when jobs require those skills and they haven't been brought up with that. And I think it's really unfair, to be quite honest.
It is, and we're going to get to the point where we're going to have generations of non-creative people because they've been locked away. And what's that going to do for the music industry? The West End, local theatre, the whole shebang. It has a knock-on effect. And the same with when we're during the COVID situation, the non-help that that industry got in comparison to others, and it was like.
Yeah. But it's like people think that even I get it now. They're like the amount of people that ask me to do free gigs because they think what I do is a hobby. And it's like, no, I've trained for nearly 10 years to do this. And you're telling me it's a hobby. It's how I make my money. It's how I pay my rent. It's how I buy food. It's how I pay my bills. And you want me to do it for free. You wouldn't go to a surgeon for surgery and ask them to do it for free because it's fun, would you? Like, same difference here. Like, just because it's creative doesn't mean it's not my profession. Yeah. And that really bugs me.
Yeah.
Can you do us a free gig then?
No.
Is now a time to talk about that get paid for the podcast? Or is that...
No, it's one of those things. Like, no. This is helping me as well. This is a skill share, you see.
Yeah.
We're going to come on to it in a minute about my little fun thing, we've been building up anticipation on since the beginning, So I'm getting something out of it and you're getting something out of it. And that works as well. That's the same thing. It's the skills exchange. Skills exchange is just as important as earning income, in my opinion.
No, I agree. We're only winding you up, but we like to do that.
I always have a comeback.
That was good. But no, we are coming nearer to the end of the podcast though, but you are right. We've been building up to something. But on your Spotify, you got singles mainly. As you say, you've got Ignite, the EP from 2018. Your last single came out in January. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Go with yes.
We're going to go with yes.
Yeah. You got some great tracks on there. I mean, anyone that wants to find Xoe-B on there, you're on Spotify and I presume on other platforms as well?
Every single streaming platform. I'm on it.
Yeah. Yes. Every streaming platform. You've got such a range of music as well. Some are acoustic. You've got like Break of Dawn that's a bit more like upbeat and funky, and I don't want to say techno because it's not techno, but you know what I mean. It's got the synths. I
know what you mean.
Yeah
it's got synths in there for sure.
But you have got a new single out today. Is that correct?
I do.
Life in Colour can be found on all those streaming platforms. But if you head over to Xoe-B's Instagram, you actually have been doing inspiration for this new single, haven't you?
I have indeed.
So tell us about Life in Colour. Promote it. This is your time to promote to all our fans.
Cool. So we've pretty much been talking about this throughout the whole of this podcast, to be honest, about, finding and building to, vision boards and wanting to be visualizing who it is that you want to be, who you want to become. And I said, I'm pretty much there now. Mm-hmm. That's what Life in Colour is about. It's about having found that, self-acceptance, liberation within yourself, and just being in a very happy place. Not many people, which is really sad, can actually say they're in a genuinely happy place. I have managed to reach it. Woo, woo.
Excellent.
So that's literally what Life in Colour is about. And accepting that you can't do anything about the past, and that there are obviously instinct reactions to things, but then once you're over that initial reaction, you can then choose to either get over something or remain in that place. But sometimes it takes a while for you to realize that can be a choice that you can make. It took me a couple of years to realize. I was like, oh wait, I don't have to be feeling rubbish all the time about this. Just get over it, it's fine. As soon as I realized that was a conscious choice I could make and I could actually go and do something about it, mate, best decisions I've ever made, I think. So that's what Life in Colour is about.
Excellent. It's exciting. And as I say, new single out today. Do we expect an album soon?
Oh, I wish. Can you imagine? That would be fun. No. No, I think the budget for an album would cost quite a lot of money to get done.
Yeah.
So in a couple of years, I think we're going to stick with lots of singles for now. Maybe an EP potentially next year, which could be fun. But basically, all my music's been really sad up until this point. And Life in Colour is basically a really super happy, upbeat disco track, heavily influenced by Dua Lipa, Jamiroquai, Bruno Mars, 24K Magic Bruno Mars, not old school soppy Bruno Mars. But so it's got all the 70s, 80s vibes in there with a sprinkle of modern production on the vocals. And the bass line is killer. Oh my goodness. If you like a good bass line, go listen to my new single Life in Colour, because that's where it's at. Nice. That's some great. I think that's the best promo I've done for myself,
That
I'm
was
very
good.
impressed with myself.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was good. I mean, you sold it to me in the fact that on the inspirations of songs, you said one of them was Murder on the Dance Floor by Sophie Ellis-Bextor. I'm so in for that.
Absolute banger. So. Yeah, if you love Sophie Ellis-Bextor as well, you'll love Life in Colour.
Yeah,
for sure.
What about then if anyone wants to see you live? Are we seeing any live shows soon? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, I can say. Of course I can say. I'm in charge. I love it. Yeah, I'll be playing at the Burgess Hill Bandstand at 12:30 on Saturday, the 27th of November. So come see me there. And another one I've got coming up will be on the Saturday, the 4th of December, at the Coot over in Horsham. So come see me play. I'll be playing some covers that we have mentioned, so like Murder on the Dance Floor, that's up there. Cosmic Girl, Jamiroquai, that's in my set as well. You'll also get to hear an acoustic version of Life in Colour, which is awesome. I'm great fun live.
Oh, that's brilliant. And head over to Xoe-B music.com with an X if you want to find out more about live dates, find out more about Zoe herself, and just to hear her music, because you've got some great stuff. It's really hard. We're recording earlier on in the week, which means we haven't heard your single yet, but I'm sure it's amazing.
I might have to give you a sneaky preview.
We'll do that at the end. But head over to streaming platforms now, find Xoe-B, have a listen to her new single Life in Colour, out today.
Woo!
Yes.
So excited. Oh my God, go stream it. Go listen. You'll love it. It's great fun.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, thank you so much, Zoe, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you and to find out more about you. And for me, all I've done is listen to you. I've not actually seen you play in person. So hopefully at some point...
come get a gig in Somerset then.
If you're coming to Somerset, or if I'm, down in West Sussex, I will surely, hopefully get to see you there. And a big thank you to everybody that's listening as well. Thank you very much for joining us this week. Don't forget, we have got another guest. Is it next week? No, we're not doing that one next week.
What's happening? I don't know who you're talking about.
That guy.
Oh, no, we got to plan a date.
We got to plan that.
That'll be December.
Oh, okay then. I was just thinking we've got another interview next week.
Next week, it's just us.
Just that. Well, we can actually do a full-on review of Xoe-B's song.
We can.
Yeah, do that.
Oh,
Do that.
so join
That'd be
us
fun.
next week as we talk about life in colour.
Yes.
Brilliant.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget, we are here every Friday at 2 p.m. usually, unless
it was last week when it was 1 p.m.
Yeah, we apologise. In the US, the clocks don't go back until this week. But yeah, we didn't realise that America was different to the UK, which we should have realised after speaking to Craig from Chicago, who mentioned the clocks. But we completely forgot that Podbean, who is our podcast host, is an American company, so their clocks didn't go back.
And
so
all you listening in America, you got it at the right time, didn't you? That was good.
Yeah, well done, you guys.
Brilliant.
Don't forget, head over to our website at www.catalystyouth.org.uk. And if you want to find all our email addresses and our social media, they're all on there somewhere. So go and have a search. I think that's it. Is that it?
It is. Thank you for joining us again, Zoe.
Yeah, thank you, Zoe.
Thank you so much for having me.
And as always, it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Do, 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 do.